Sometimes you can just sense evil in places, sometimes in your very own home. Posted in the very spooky video subreddit by Big Daddy Marco, the Redditor writes that he is quarantined in a haunted house. Originally published to YouTube by Donnie Drunkard, he writes, "Since being in quarantine, the paranormal and haunted activity has manifested in poltergeist activity on an almost daily basis. I believe the entity is demonic in nature." Terry explains that this is an update and recap of footage caught on his live stream. He also says that he thinks there's more than one spirit in his home. Using a paranormal tool that captures movement, the recap shows that something is indeed present in the hallway, and its presence is made known on more than one occasion. The kinetic image appears. In the last clip, he tells the thing to leave, and after a moment it does as he commands.
Trespass against us. I'm shaking so bad right now, man.
It disappears from the monitor. Some in the comments suggest that Terry get a demonologist into his home to take this thing on. What would you do if you sensed, heard, and saw a demonic spirit in your home? Would you stay or would you go? Indiana Jones Stunt Show is a dramatic recreation of the movie performed in front of a live audience. During this part of the show, the main character is ordinarily supposed to outrace a giant prop boulder and barely escape. This is what happens instead. You can hear a terrified scream emerge from the crowd as the boulder goes off track and heads straight towards the audience. Watch this part and you can see how the boulder would have probably smashed into the front row had it not hit a hole in the stage and slowed down. I guess the real question with this video is, how much does the fake boulder weigh? People have said everything from as much as 440 pounds to as little as 80 pounds, but no real sources have been verified. If only we knew how much the prop boulder weighed, we'd know how much danger the audience was actually in. Either way, this was not the last time that the Indiana Jones stage play would have problems. Many years later in 2009, an actor somehow tumbled to their doom during a rehearsal.
This is part of his routine. He's doing a dive roll and I think he landed on his head. He's unconscious right now. He's unconscious. He's not breathing. Okay.
Sadly, they did not pull through. These videos posted by the Washington State Department of Transportation in January of 2020 have had thousands of people retweeting and speculating as to what was spotted that day on Sherman's Pass. The webcam photo shows a mysterious creature with not a trace of skin showing beneath, not even around the eyes and face. It doesn't look like a person, and it doesn't look like a costume, but it does look like it could be a bipedal humanoid covered in fur. One day later, a new official video of the same species, if not the same specimen, was released by the Department of Transportation. This time spotted at the Snoqualmie Pass, over 4 hours away. I think this second sighting looks more like a person than the first, and I think they might even be wearing a pair of boots, but it's too far away to tell. I think maybe this is a person who was inspired by the first sighting. It's too bad that this supposed creature chose to walk away from the camera instead of towards it, so we could get a better look. What's different about both of these sightings, and most others, is the source. This is a government agency, not some random person on YouTube, so I think it's safe to say that something was definitely out there on both days. Whether it was a human or a real creature though, I cannot say. Maybe one day soon a third sighting will give us the final piece of evidence we need to make a solid conclusion. Robin Adri is the name of a YouTube channel with an interesting Ouija board experiment at 3 AM.
Is there any spirits out here that would like to contact us?
They try to get the ghost to spell its name, but the session gets off to a bad start after they complain about how slow the ghost is at spelling. This seems to aggravate the spirit, and it asks to speak with Rob's twin brother Steven by spelling its name over and over again. The spirit goes on to profess that it does not have good intentions for his brother Steve.
Do you want to hurt Steven?
After a while, the Ouija board stops spelling Steven long enough to spell out Zozo instead. They eventually end the session properly, and even get assured that they will be left alone in the future.
You said that you will not haunt us, right? Thank you so much, we really appreciate it.
But it seems as though Zozo may have been luring them into a false sense of security. As they are leaving, they see a rattlesnake nearby, and it seems to be paying special attention to Steven. Rob and Adri are convinced that Zozo was sending them a warning sign in the form of a serpent, but I think this could also just be a coincidence. Let me know what you think. This footage was taken by an American tourist who was visiting Romania. He was just walking around a local zoo on his own, checking out the sights when he hears about a new attraction that is unlike any of the others. He is ushered into a dark farmhouse along with some other curious observers. Almost immediately, the tone of the video changes from skeptical to serious. It's hard to say exactly how, but something just feels wrong all of a sudden. You can hear the villagers talking among themselves, excitedly as they push past. Farm animals are making noises as the American makes his way deeper inside. This section is very dark now, and even though the Romanians are speaking in a different language, you can tell that people are sounding worried and concerned as they come closer and closer to the main attraction. Finally, the American tourist sees it for himself. Sitting across from them on a straw floor is what appears to be a white humanoid creature with black eyes and a wide gap for a mouth. It makes a series of tortured gurgling sounds and then charges towards its cage as the video quickly ends. It's hard to tell if this is a real creature or a man in a suit because the lighting is very dim. At the same time, Romania is a very rural country, and anything could be lurking in the woods. Maybe someone really did capture this thing and drag it back to society to be gawked at by paying crowds. If this thing is real, then the poor humanoid sounds like it's been severely mistreated and probably needs help. This intriguing footage was captured on a dash cam at around 7 p.m. Watch closely. As the car turns around, keep your eye on the front of the white van up ahead. Do you see that dark figure move behind it? Now watch the second floor stairway window as the driver pulls forward. Something is clearly peeking out at him. The shadow figure disappears as the car reverses, and you don't see it again. The strangest part was that during this camera freeze in the beginning, the YouTuber says he caught a glimpse of the shadow speed toward the stairway. This is actually what led him to check his camera footage. Is the shadow figure in both spots the same lurking entity? I think it just might be, and this shadow seems to move at the speed of light. More proof that ignorance is bliss. If you knew what monsters lurked below, would you ever put your boat out? Simon Lawrence published this drone footage of a great white having a go at a 7-meter crab boat near Port Lincoln, South Australia in October of 2017. You can see the enormous shark drift carelessly beneath the boat. At first, the shark appears to have no interest in his two-legged friends or their curious contraption, but then the shark does a 180 and returns, appearing to nudge the rear of the boat. In the video description, Lawrence notes what happens. The shark surfaced after we pulled the pod off him. Well, he was swimming off with it. We didn't drag the shark, nor did it drag us. It did, however, put its nose against the motor and started to push us around. It then put its mouth over the echo sounder transducer. You can see the shark surface a couple times, which is quite scary in and of itself, just as the face above the water is a little too Jaws-esque for the faint of heart. You can also see the shark move against the motor, although it doesn't seem to have caused any damage. After a while, the shark bugs off and takes a rope with it. Another scary encounter with our big tooth friends from down under. If you have a sibling, then they've likely played practical jokes on you before, but what happens when the impractical is not a joke? In this video, something is seen floating on the other side of the room. As the boys grow increasingly panicked, a toy car is thrown at the younger brother, while another toy car comes flying towards the older brother, seemingly of its own accord. The video cuts out and then resumes, as the brothers are arguing with each other in Malay, perhaps blaming each other for the paranormal activity. The younger brother is being yelled at, and he screams back in anger before leaving the room. The older brother looks concerned, and when they go check on him, they find a figure standing on the toilet hanging upside down. After shouting out, one of the older brothers rushes back into the dining room, and it seems the paranormal is not over yet. A chair shoves out from under the table on its own. He grabs his phone, while the other brother attempts to restrain the child. That's where the video ends. While many in the comments are doubtful of this video's authenticity, some are all in saying this is real. Facebook user Mohammed Zarif Amin is one of the latter, writing, "All of you who comment says this is all an act. Just be careful if he wants to disturb you. We have to believe this smooth creature exists. I guess if we don't believe, we are more vulnerable." A YouTuber named DX5K doesn't really believe in Bloody Mary, but at the same time, he just can't seem to stop trying to summon her. This is his third try, and it seems to be going as poorly as the other two attempts. He gets an idea and decides that he should try to summon her in total darkness, and that's when things start to get interesting in a potentially paranormal way.
Maybe without the candle. Wow, I tried to blow the candle out and it came back on. Let's try it again. Wow, that's actually spooky. I can't blow the candle out. Now this is getting interesting. This I like. Let's go.
The candle continues to stay lit despite blowing straight on it. You can hear the curiosity in his voice as DX5K starts to consider the possibility that he may not be alone after all. He quickly shakes the thought out of his mind and tries to blow out the candles for a third time.
Now, say something. I blew your candle out. I seen you kept trying to put the candle back up. It's lit.
This time, the candle goes out and he resumes talking trash to Bloody Mary. This could be proof that the legend is not real, or maybe Bloody Mary does not show up for non-believers. If it's not real, then I'd like to know why he couldn't blow out the candle. It doesn't really sound like he is acting. This couple chose flight when aggressive paranormal activity sent them running for their lives. Posted by La China Nicole in February of 2022. The security camera footage from this haunted night is next level. At first, all is well. A woman is brushing her hair in the mirror while chatting with her partner, who is in the adjacent bedroom. But once they both get into bed and are watching TV, their peaceful night turns for the worse. First, the sheet on their bed flies off of them toward the bathroom. When the man gets up to check it out, he is pushed backward and falls against the wall. The woman is pushed back too, and they quickly flee the room. That's when the curtain on the window brushes open, after which the mirror on the wall moves. The wardrobe's doors fling open, and the bedroom door does as well nearly simultaneously. On another camera, the couple is seen coming down the stairs when a picture frame flies off the wall. A chair next to them is also thrown to the ground as they struggle to find the key to open the door. As the TV falls off its stand and the cupboards in the kitchen fling open, the man finally gets the door open and lifts his pregnant wife from the floor. After the couple finally escapes, a pillow flies off the couch and up into the air. Could you stand your ground against this outrageous poltergeist? Neither could I. Thank you so much for getting me to 30,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 40,000 subscribers next. Thank you.